Okay, today we're going to learn about the lives and times of J.L. Kraft, the founder of Kraft Foods. Mac and cheese, American cheese slices. This book is by Rebecca Vickers. From fresh to processed, fresh food is good for you. Refrigeration keeps some foods fresh, but over time, bacteria grows. This can make food go bad. Fresh cheese is very tasty, but it can easily go bad. Yuck. James Lewis Kraft was a cheese seller. He wanted to find a way to make food last longer. He built up a big business processing cheese and other foods. J.L. Kraft and his company invented many convenience foods. James Lewis Kraft, called J.L., was born November 11, 1874, near Lake Erie in Ontario, Canada. His parents were George and Minerva Kraft. Look at the early pictures of his parents. J.L. was the second of 11 children. His father was a farmer. The home where J.L. grew up would have looked like this one. Working hard. J.L.'s family was very religious. They believed in the Bible and lived very simple lives. J.L. and his family lived and worked on a dairy farm like this one. J.L. went to the local high school and worked hard to help his father. His first job was as a clerk at Ferguson's General Store in Fort Erie. In most small towns, the general store was the only place to buy things. Crossing the border. J.L. worked at Ferguson's for about 10 years. In 1902, he moved across the border to the United States. He became a partner in a cheese company in Buffalo, New York. Buffalo was much bigger than the small town in Canada where J.L. had been living. J.L. left Buffalo to work for the company in Chicago, Illinois. Sadly for J.L., his partners turned against him. He ended up in Chicago with no job and only $65. In the early 1900s, Chicago was the second largest city in the United States. Trading in cheese. In Chicago, J.L. started to buy and sell cheese. He bought good cheese very early in the morning from the South Water Street Market. Grocery store owners liked buying from J.L. It meant they did not have to get up early to go to a market like this one. Wow, that's a lot of people and stuff. J.L. sold his cheese to grocery stores from a horse-drawn wagon. By 1914, the company sold 30 kinds of cheese across the United States. 4 of J.L.'s brothers came to work for him. He started the J.L. Kraft and Brothers Company in 1909. A wife and daughter. In 1910, J.L. married Pauline Elizabeth Platt. In 1916, J.L. and Pauline had a baby daughter, Edith. This picture shows J.L., Pauline, and their daughter, Edith. Oh, she was tall. Soon after his marriage, J.L. became a citizen of the United States. He was also working hard to find a way to keep cheese from going bad. At the same time, W.K. Kellogg, the cereal maker seen here, also tried to keep foods fresh. Cheese goes to war. In 1914, World War I started in Europe. The United States joined the war in 1917. U.S. soldiers needed healthy food rations. Americans going off to war meant more business for Kraft and Brothers. The U.S. government bought 6 million pounds of Kraft's canned cheese during World War I. JL had worked out a way to process cheese to keep it fresh. The Army thought Kraft's canned processed cheese would be perfect for the soldiers to eat. Processing and patents. JL's company made special pasteurized cheese that lasted a long time. Over the years, Kraft and Brothers took out many patents so that no one could steal their ideas. By the mid-1920s, Kraft had the world's largest laboratory for working on cheese. Another company, Phoenix Cheese, also made processed cheese. The two companies joined in 1928 to form Kraft Phoenix Cheese Corporation. The Phoenix Cheese Company was famous for its Philadelphia cream cheese. Advertising and entertainment. J.L. Kraft believed in advertising. At the beginning, he used local newspapers. When the company got bigger, it advertised in national magazines. Kraft products were advertised to show how they could be used. In the 1930s, Kraft sponsored a radio program called Kraft Music Hall. Later, the company sponsored the first big television drama program, Kraft Television Theater. Kraft Television Theater was shown on television from 1947 to 1958. Kraft Foods. The Kraft Phoenix Cheese Corporation grew quickly. By the early 1930s, it had 10,000 workers in 30 states and 4 other countries. By the 1940s, Kraft made much more than cheese. It changed its name to Kraft Foods. One of the most famous Kraft products, Velveeta, was invented in 1928. Miracle Whip and Kraft Macaroni and Cheese Dinner went on sale in the 1930s. Kraft Macaroni and Cheese Dinner is still one of Kraft's most popular products. After the war. By 1945, J.L. Kraft was a very successful man. He still made time for his hobby, collecting a green stone called jade. He collected jade from all over the world. J.L. Kraft made this window out of jade. It is in a church in Chicago. Wow, look how beautiful that is. J.L. stopped working for Kraft Foods in 1951. He died in Chicago on February 16th, 1953, when he was 78 years old. This is a photograph of J.L. in his later years. More about J.L. J.L. Kraft was more than just successful at inventing and business. He was good to his workers, and he gave away a lot of his money. J.L. and Pauline worked together to make life better for other people. Today, Kraft Foods products are made and sold all around the world. There are Kraft food businesses in more than 150 countries. Starting with only cheese, Kraft Foods now sells coffee, chocolate, cereal, cookies, and many other foods. How many of these do you have in your house? Fact file. JL's parents spelled their name Kraft. JL changed it so that it was spelled with just one F. The U.S. government bought Kraft processed cheese to use in rations for soldiers. JL was an expert on the valuable stone jade. His book on jade was published in 1947. One of the most popular foods in Australia, The spread Vegemite is a Kraft product. Kraft Foods still sells more cheese than any other company in the world. Our glossary. Advertising, telling people about something. Bacteria, very small living things. Business is an activity that earns money. A citizen is an official member of a country. A company is a group of people who make money by selling things. A convenience store is convenience food is food that is easy to use. General store is a store that sells everything. Government is a group that leads the country and makes laws. Invent means to make something that has never been made before. Jade is a hard green stone. A laboratory is where scientific work is carried out. A market is where people buy or sell things. Partners are owners of a company. Pasteurized means heated to kill bad bacteria. A patent is ownership of an idea or invention so no one can copy it. Processing, method used to change something. Rations are packages of food for soldiers. Refrigeration means using cold to keep things fresh. Sponsored means paid to advertise. And World War I was a war fought in Europe from 1914 to 1918. That was interesting because I know I like a lot of the Kraft items, but it's amazing because here's a man who sold cheese out of a wagon and he turned it into a big company that's still around today. So guys, don't give up on your dreams. You can do it. See you next time.